Welcome along, everyone. My name is Louise Hopkins, and I know that you are used to seeing Alistair on these sessions, but he's not able to host today's session, so he asked me to come along. So I do the same job as Alistair in Adobe. I'm a senior customer success manager, and I work with some of our other education customers here in the UK. So we have a 1 hour for this, and feel free to add some questions into the chat as we go along. I'll periodically just stop and check on those questions as well. Equally, if you wanted to raise your hand and come off mute, we have a small group, so happy for that to happen as well. So today's session was looking at creating videos using Adobe Stock. Alistair also asked me to cover Adobe Express and also look at Adobe Premiere Pro as well, and have a look at those products and how we can use Adobe Stock templates as well. So we'll have a look at initially how to use the stock footage and templates to create videos. But just to we will start with Adobe Express, but just to touch on Premiere Pro, some of you may have experience using Premiere Pro before. It is an industry-leading video editing software. It's used in film and TV for editing. But if you are looking to produce a video and you need to craft it with simple editing tools and make stunning content faster, sometimes Express can help you do that. You can upload footage into Express, and as I said, we'll be looking at how to take stock footage today, but that footage can also come from your phone or other locations as well. And we'll have a look at how you can easily craft that and split all those different scenes together, rearrange them to create a video, and then add a whole bunch of different depth to your video in terms of your animation and different graphics and text and icons that you can add and overlay on top of that, on top of those scenes. We will look at Premiere Pro very briefly towards the end, and I'll show you how you can take stock templates, so Premiere Pro stock template, and bring them into Premiere Pro, and then just how to sort of use and edit some of those templates that you can bring into Premiere Pro as well. So one thing I would say, the question I often get asked when we look at Adobe Express in terms of the video functionality is there a limit? You know, do you get to a point? And there actually is no imposed limit on the video length for Adobe Express. However, there's some practical limitations with the app. So it might become a little bit slower, or operations might take a little bit longer as your video becomes larger and longer. So just to sort of point that out, but there's no imposed limit on the length there. So let's dive right in, and I can see there's some questions coming through, so let me just answer them before we move on. Oh, video seems to be frozen. Let me just come off my camera and I will come back on and let me know. Is that got a bit better now?
Yeah, that's unfrozen now.
Awesome. I hope I wasn't frozen in a really awkward position. That's always the fear, isn't it? Fantastic. Just let me know if that happens again, and I'll just come off and come back on. So let me dive right in and let me share my screen. And if you want to follow along, please do so. Here is the stock link for you to come into. So we'll be looking at Adobe Stock, and we'll also be looking at Adobe Express. And here's the link for Adobe Express. And again, feel free to follow along. If you haven't got Premiere Pro installed, it might interfere with your call if you do that whilst on the call. But if you have got it installed, feel free to open that up for the end of the session as well. But we'll focus on Adobe Stock initially and take a look at what you can access through Adobe Stock. Now, of course, we're looking at video footage. So the one thing I would say about Adobe Stock is the Creative Cloud All apps that you have allows for unlimited images through Adobe Stock. But to get access to the videos and the audios, you would have to have purchased credits. but there are still stock footage for you to leverage on Adobe Stock, and it's just in the free library. Now, even as an Adobe employee, I don't get access to the high level video and audio files, but even in the free, I find that it's great, and it's got just the footage that I would need as well. So within Adobe Stock, you've got a few different options in terms of the search functionality. Now, I should say I'm on two monitors. I'm going to be sharing on this monitor, but you guys are on this one. So excuse me if I look over here quite often. So within the free option, you can either select free from up here, or whilst you're searching, you can select it from the drop down here. And from here, you can just search for what you're looking for. So the example that I'm going to give you today, let's say, for example, we've been asked to create a short advert focusing on well-being, social aspects of what you can do to make yourself feel good in the world. And let's say, for example, we wanted to have an opening scene of somebody walking through a park. Now, I have downloaded all of these assets prior to this call, just in the interest of time. But if you wanted to go and grab just any kind of stock footage whilst you're following along, then please feel free to do so. And there's a couple of, as I mentioned, a couple of places where you can grab this stock footage. It is within Express as well, and I'll show you that in a moment, but you can also use it from the stock interface. So, in true Blue Peter fashion, now here's one I prepared before. So I've just searched for people running in a park, and what happens is I get all of this content that appears. Now, most of this are images, but I want to just drill this down and actually look for video stock footage. So I'm just going to use the filters on the left-hand side here to just select the videos, and that'll just only show me stock video footage that's available here. And you can see on stock, if I scroll your mouse over, it plays the video, so you can have a preview of what that video looks like. You can see some of them have this blue banner saying licensed. That means that someone in your organization has already licensed that video, so you can just re-download that for free. And you can see here, this one is not yet licensed by myself or anyone else in my organization. Therefore, I can click on the license button here and then go ahead and license that. So if I scroll down, as you can see, I can continue just scrolling my mouse, and then I can see all of the different options. And then this is the one that I did select for today's demo. You can see I've already licensed it. So when I come up here, I can either save it to my library, and that's a library that saves across all of your Creative Cloud product stack. So you can access that within Premiere Pro, you can access it in all of the other Adobe products, including Express. You can either download it for free, or again, you can find similar. So maybe you like something about this one, the color gradients, or perhaps the way that it's set up, and you want to find something similar. So you can click that, and Stock will go away and find something similar for that video as well. But if I wanted to re-download it, I can just click re-download for free. What happens is that will save into a library, and it will also save into my download folder on my locally on my machine. But just to sort of show you the license option, so if I wanted to license a stock footage that I haven't done before, and feel free to do this if you're following along, you can just click the license button, and what happens is it will open up a new window and allows me to download the different types of videos that I want. So do I want HD version or 4K version? And I can just hit continue, and then that download will happen in the background for me. But as I said, I've already gone ahead and downloaded this one. I've saved it into a folder structure on my laptop, and that allows me to then bring all that content into Express and start to craft and put together the video that I want based on all of the different content that I've selected. But again, if you're following along, please feel free to just either download one from here, or as I mentioned, these are actually accessible through Express as well, but I wanted to kind of show you both options here. So that's how you can find free stock footage, free stock video footage. But let's go and have a look how to now just craft that video together in Adobe Express. So again, if you've not already clicked on that second link that I've put into the chat, go ahead and do that now. Hopefully by now, most of you will be familiar with Adobe Express. But if you're not, we're going to focus on the video aspects for today. So there's a couple of entry points, and you'll notice that in Stock as well as Adobe Express. There's a few different entry points into the video editing tool. You can either click on the video here. You can either click on Start from your content and then select video. You can either click on the blue plus sign and then go to video here. So there's multiple entry points to get into your editor to create a video. Sometimes there seems a lot there, but it's actually all just the same entry points. It's just making sure that it can direct you and put you into where you need to be. The other option is we can go down to our drop down, we can select videos, and we can then search for videos. And this will bring us up different templates that we wanted to use. So again, you don't have to start from scratch. You don't necessarily have to start from stock images and download all these different images. You can actually go and find a templated video as well in Adobe Express and start from there and then start to edit and stitch all that together. So you never really have to start with a blank piece of paper. You can always start with something and get some inspiration and take it from there. But for the purpose of today's demo, what I'm going to show you is a video creation where I've downloaded all of my assets. So I've collated all of the different stock images that I want, and I'm going to put them together and show you how to do that in the editing mode within Express. So if you're following along, feel free to do this. So click the plus sign, and I'm just going to scroll down to video, and I'm just going to click on video, and then that's going to take me into the Express editor. And I know I'm in the editor because it automatically opens up the media files here. So this is where I can again access that stock imagery, and this is pulling from the free stock library, which we showed you previously. I can just close this down and then start from a different location or start to add in different elements if I want to. When I click on here, it just opens up that editor file again. And then down here, you can see I have a timeline. So again, I can drag this along the timeline if I wanted to see where my video's at. And then I can start layering and adding in different elements to my video as well. As I mentioned, I've already downloaded some of this just in preparation. But if we wanted to go and take a stock footage, once you're here, you can just click on it and it will automatically place that into your timeline. And then you can see where that goes and you can see how that works. So if you don't like that one, you can just click on it, hit the delete button, and then it's gone. So it's nice and simple, nice and easy, and you can start to build out what you want to build out. So let's use the example that I've mentioned earlier. We've been asked to do a sort of advert. We want to sort of bring in elements that we've downloaded from Adobe Stock. You'll remember that stock scene that I found of an opening scene of people walking through or running through a park. Now this is it here. I downloaded it from Adobe Stock, so I've saved it into my own personal folder and locally on my laptop. And you can see if I have these files saved, whether I've taken them to some mobile device or I've downloaded them from somewhere else, I can just drop the file directly into the editor and it will automatically attach to my timeline. And then I can just play this and I can see this video working from here. So as I said, there's multiple entry points and multiple ways you can start. You can either take it from Stock, take it from Express, or just drag and drop that in. So I'm going to start from here so you can see my video here. Now it's gone a bit blank here. Easy fix, just grab my timeline and I'm just going to drag that down to the end of my video. So it's simple and easy to use the tools, and you can then start to layer on top of that. So let's say, for example, I wanted to add in a graphic over the top of this video to say something about the video, say something about the scene. So what I can do is on the left-hand side here, I can scroll down and I can just add in some text. So I want to add in a text here. I can either add in text just plain and then start to edit it and make adjustments as I see fit. I can also go down here and you can see these are some examples of different types of text I can add in. So these are just overlays that you add it in. They're fully customizable. Usually they come in grouped, so you just need to ungroup those options and then you can start to edit where you want to edit. So let's just say, for example, I'm going to do that here. I'm going to do a title and I want it to be in some sort of frame. So I'm just going to search for a title frame and then it's given me some options here. And I think, right, I'm going to take that one. And again, when I've selected that's the one I want, I can just click on it once and it goes and it overlays it onto my video. So from here, as I mentioned, you can then start to edit all of these different elements. But you'll see here, these are all grouped at the moment. So I'm just going to ungroup and then I can start to make my edits. So from here, I can then say, right, I'm going to ungroup again. I don't like the color of these triangles. So I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make them a bit softer and not as stand out. And all I'm doing here is I'm just using the editor options on the left-hand side here and just changing the colors. So this frame seems a bit dark, so I'm going to change this perhaps to white. I don't really want this top text box. I'm just going to delete that one. And then I'm going to update and change this one. So again, I've got some text here that I've got prepared. I'm just going to insert that there. Now, I'm not liking the text necessarily. So again, I'm going to come here and I'm going to just change the text and I can change the color of the text and I can change the text layout. So personally, these are some of my favorite tools in Express. Yes, I know, I'm quite sad. This one is just your default one. So it's just like a normal sentence. But I love the fact that you can change this really quickly and easily to a different shape. And I love this dynamic one because it just automatically does it for you. And sometimes in my past life, I've spent a while like changing the size of the fonts and does that not look right? I'll change that type of font to make it larger. It just automatically does it for you. So I love this feature in Express. So let's just centralize that. Then what we can do is just highlight all of that again. And then we can just regroup it so that it's all grouped together. I'm just going to check that's all grouped, yep. And then what we can do is start to layer on different aspects here. So let's just going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to put it in the center. And then you'll see if I play my video, for some reason the video is stuck in the background, so apologies, but you'll see that my wording here is just overlaid on the video for the full time. Now, I don't want it to be there for the full time. I want it to come in and come out again. So one of the things we can do with this particular text is we can animate it. So very much like I'm sure you've seen before, you can have things transition in and out of a video. Super easy to do this in Express, which I love. Once you've clicked on the image, now the one top tip I'll give you is make sure that you group it all together so it's seen as one item. You can then click animation, and this allows you to then have it coming in, either doing through a loop, or then you can have it exiting as well. So I'm just going to have it coming in. I'm going to have it fade, and you'll see you can change the personality of it. So you can have it going soft, smooth, strong, energetic, loud. You can also change the duration. So I'm going to just do it a wee bit longer. And you'll see that what happens if I scroll back, it's going to allow the video to play for a while, then it's going to come in. And then I can have it coming out at a different time as well. So I'm going to fade it out and I'm going to do that duration a wee bit longer as well. So you'll see that it's played over the video and it's overlaid. But again, I'm thinking, I don't want it to be the full time on that video. So I want to adjust that slightly. And the easy way to do that, can you see there's like right at the bottom here, you've got the show layer timing. So what you can do is click that. What happens is that reveals that blue box, and that blue box is one of the layers of the video. So I've got my video timeline and have a layer of a graphic over the top of that, or a text box. And what I can do is just grab that text box and I can just adjust the timing on it so that I've got a little bit of my video playing at the start. I've got my fade in and fade out, and then I've got a little bit of my video playing at the end. without the text being part of it the whole time. If I scroll back, apologies the video isn't playing in the background there, but you can see the text graphic animations coming in, and then in just a moment you'll see it fades back out again. So it allows you to just have that softness in the video, but it was super quick and easy to do. So that's me done my first scene. I'm thinking, well, I'm on a roll here, I'm quite good, I'm going to carry on and going to add in my next scene. So for my next scene, what I want to do is add in a different option. So I'm going to stay on this and I'm going to just drag this one in. And can you see where I've done that? It drags it in and it drags it in over the top of that one. But what I can do, for some reason, I'll just go back. That allowed me to do that. The joys of live demoing. If I add this file in, what I can then allow me to do is add it as a new scene. So for some reason it's not coming up. So we'll just add a new scene here. But often what happens if you drag and drop it in, you'll get a little warning message. So you can try it if you're following along, and it will say add as a new theme, as a new scene. So it asks you, you're adding another video on top. Is that a new scene, or what are you doing here? So it will prompt you for that as well, but for some reason it's not done it for me there. So we're just going to click on the bottom there and add in that new scene there. So you can see that's what I've done. I've clicked add new scene, and then that one's coming in. But again, if you're following along and it's not as your internet is better than mine, you should see that warning message when you drag and drop it in. So again, I'm just going to show you the two different scenes. I can have my first scene, and then it goes into my second scene here as well of somebody with their bike. So again, I'm going to do the same. I want to add in some text here. But this time I'm going to just add in my own text, and it just comes up with a blank text box. So I can write in here, focus on what makes an impact. Again, I'm going to highlight my text. I'm going to change it to dynamic because I love that effect. And I'm going to just scroll that down. Now, if I place that up here, what's happened is it's kind of got lost a little bit. So one of the things I can do is if I add in perhaps a box behind it, it just might make it stand out a little bit more. So to allow me to do that again, I'm just going to go into add in different layers on top of my video. And this is one of the things I love about Express when you're doing video editing like this, is it's just super simple and super quick to be able to layer all these actions over the top and animate them as well. So let's say, for example, I wanted to add in a box. So I can go into the elements option here on the left-hand side. And from here, I've got lots of different design assets. I've got lots of different backgrounds that I can choose from. And then I've got shapes. If I scroll along, I then have icons as well. But I'm just going to show you the shape. So I'm just going to grab just the standard square. Here it is. If I click on it, it then allows me and opens up some of my editing options here on the left-hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have no border on it, and I'm going to make it white. And then what I'm going to do is just increase or decrease the opacity of that as well. So just so it makes my text pop a little bit, but I can still see some of the video in the background. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to move that up into position. But what's happened here, as you can see, my text is behind it, so I can't really see it. Again, super easy, super simple to fix. Come on the right-hand side here, and if you drag and drop that layer, I can then put my text to the front and my box to the back. And then I can start to adjust this and make it look how I want it to look. Now, again, if I wanted to add animation and have it coming in or going out, remember, group. So it sees it as one object. So just highlight both and click group. And then this is grouped as one object. And then I'd be able to go and animate that as well across my video. So what I've done here, just to recap, we've got our video. For some reason it's not playing, but that's okay, I'll sort that in a moment. I've got my text box coming in and out, and then I've added a different scene in, and I've added a text, and I've added a box on the back of it as well. So from here, I can just, as I mentioned, just keep layering in new scenes. Now, I did download other content here, so I'm just going to keep adding in a new scene, and I'm just going to add in this one that I have here of planting trees. going to add in another scene, so just click Add Scene, and I'm going to add in this cooking class. And again, if you're doing this, feel free to either, if you've downloaded from Stock, use that, but if not, go here, click on Media, Videos, and then just search for videos. Just keep adding them in, and you'll see as we build that up, we can have multiple videos added into the timeline in Express, and then what we can do is start adjusting the timings of these, and I'll show you in just a moment how we can trim some of these up as well, because some of them are pretty long here. So we've done these first two videos, and we've come in, and if I drag the timeline across, you can see I've got this third video of planting trees. Now, it seems quite long, so a couple of things that we can do, we can either just drag this timeline in a little bit, and that will just adjust the timings and adjust the video. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it, perhaps, I'm going to show you this in the final one. So on this final video, you can see I've got a lot of the chat at the start, and then they do their high five, and then they run off into the sunset. So let's say, for example, I wanted to actually cut a huge section of this out. So you can either drag this in. The other way that you can do this is if you right click on where your arrow is on your timeline and not on there. Come on, Express, stop. There we go. You'll be able to either duplicate the scene, delete the scene, or split the scene. So this is just another tip for if you want to cut certain sections out your video. So you can split the scene here, and essentially what happens is I've still got my scene and I can carry on, or it's split it into two different sections. And then what I can then do is say, right, I now want to just delete this scene or this section, and I'll just delete that out and then move my other section in. So just a couple of ways in which you can trim a video. As I said, you either just drag it on the timeline down, but if there's a certain section that you wanted to cut out, you can just split that so that it essentially creates a new scene, and then you can delete that scene. So those are just some of the things that we can do. Now we can scroll back and we can start to add different sections on. So let's say, for example, want to add in some elements again. I can add in some shapes or icons. I can add in other media options here. So if I wanted to add in some photos, I can add a photo over here. But I'm going to add in some text here as well. So let's say, for example, I wanted to add in some logos. So I can click on View All, and that will open up that option within the full library, and I can start to add the elements on top. So just while that's doing that and thinking about it, what I'll do is I'll just show you some of the other options here. So one of the other things you can do with the video, just so that you're aware, if I click on this, it's essentially just an element within the Express page. So let's say, for example, I wanted to just change where this video is for these individuals, and I wanted to just make it a little bit bigger, just so that it's fitting there a bit better. And I can easily adjust that video like that as well, which I think, again, is super easy and super quick to do within Express. So let's say, for example, we wanted to add in something here. Let's do a to-do list. Let's see if we've got anything here. And all I'm doing here is just kind of searching through, trying to find out, you know, one of the text elements that I want to add on. And we can, I'm just going to search for checklist in my search box. Okay, I'll grab that one. So again, you know, we're doing this little video. It's about like, what can you do to, you know, make yourself feel good, make yourself feel, you know, be part of the community. So we'll have a little checklist. I'm going to show you just how to add in that shape again, just to sit behind it. So again, I'm going to make that white. I'm going to turn down the opacity, and I'm going to put my to-do list over the top of it. And I can do a little bit of this. Again, if you're following along, like, please just feel free to add anything in that you want to add in. And then what I can do from here is I can update some of this text and write other other text into here, because again, it's all editable. You can change it and adjust it as you see fit. And I'm going to take that away, and I'm going to take my final one away as well. Okay, so what we've done is we've created this little checkbox. And again, my top tip, remember to always regroup everything if you've got something here. So I've just scrolled over. Now you can see it's highlighted my video. Not sure who's on a Mac or who's on a Windows, but you can just shift and then unhighlight that one so that it's just the to-do list that's there. And I can just copy it, and then I'm going to paste it onto each of my videos. And you can see it comes up as a layer here as well. So once you've done that, you can just go along, and I'm just going to paste that onto each of my videos and paste it on here as well. But again, I don't want it to be through this whole video, so I'm going to look at this layer time in. I'm going to adjust that down ever so slightly, because when they start to run away, what I want to happen is do something else on here. So I'm going to add in something different. I'm going to add in some more elements, some more text here, and let's add in a shout box. There we go, that one will do. And again, we can just go ahead and start to adjust this. So I'll just ungroup, and then I can start to take things away. So we can add in something like, you know, let's make your experience great. And again, we just adjust our text box, and we can place that. I'm going to just change the color here. I'm not sure I like this pop of pink. And that looks a bit better. So again, we'll just group everything together so it's in a group. Oh, and it's not grabbed that second one, so I'll just grab that one as well. And now it's grouped everything together. So again, if I click on this one, you'll see this is my layer here. So I can drag that down so that it comes in after the other layer. And if I go back here, you can see my timeline layer is here, and then my box is here. So when I play the video, that will be there overlaid on that video. That will then disappear at the end, because I've said I only want it to last that length. And then my other box will appear at the end there. So I know we've done a lot. I'll pause just in case anyone has any questions. I can't see anything in the chat pod, but feel free to raise your hand or come off mute. But let me just recap what we've done. We've essentially taken stock imagery, and I had about 6 videos there that I've downloaded from Stock. You can also find that within the Express library as well. And what we've done is we've brought them all together, added different scenes, and then added different text boxes and different elements on top of that, and then adjusted in the timeline and added some animation to some of that as well. So once you've created all of that video, at this point as well, you've got many other options that you can do. So if I go into the media and go into audio, you can upload audio from a device if you have recorded audio elsewhere. You can record your voiceover. So if you have a video that you've done and you wanted to record audio over the top of it, you can record your voice directly into Express. And there's also other, again, royalty-free audio that's part of Adobe Express that you can come in here and you can add in. So I'm just gonna, you can replay some of the audio so you can hear what it sounds like. And then you can choose audio that you find is appropriate. And again, you can search for audio, so you can go and search, you know, something poppy, fun. But let's just use this bright pop inspiration one. If I can just click on it, what happens is that it brings it in across the whole video timeline. And then if I play it, for some reason that video's not playing, so we'll go there. You'll see that it just overlays over the top. And hopefully you can all hear that as well. But if I click on the audio on my timeline, I have adjustments here as well. So maybe I want to just lower it down a little bit. And again, if I want to then record my voice audio over the top, I'd maybe want that music a lot lower. But you can adjust the levels there as well, so that it's not so loud, it's not so prominent within the video. And again, you can continue to go on and on and on and add more things in, add more layers. You can resize the video from here as well. So again, this is just super, super quick and easy to do. Just resize, you can choose the size that you want to do, and then just click resize it. You can, again, you can share it just the same way as you can share other files and other editable options within Express. You can share with colleagues, they can add comments. You can download the file as well. So you can download it as an MP4 and then upload it elsewhere for viewing. You can also take this video and you can use it into an Adobe web page as well. So there's lots of different options for how you want to then take that video that you've edited and then go ahead and create and use that elsewhere. I'll pause just before we go back to stock and look at the Premiere Pro options. But has anyone got any questions, any comments, willing to share the video that they've maybe done as they've been following along? No pressure, if you don't want to. Any questions? I'll just pause for a moment. Nope, all quiet. If everyone wants to give me a thumbs up just to make sure we're all okay to move on. Lauren, that was a hands up, but I'm guessing that was a thumbs up. Yeah, that's fine.
It was supposed to be a thumbs up, sorry.
That's okay. I do that all the time. Awesome, great. So we can move on then. So let's go back to stock then. And I'm just going to go back to the home page of stock. Quite easy to do that. Just click the stock symbol in the top left corner, and that takes you right back to the home page. So we were looking in the free stock library, and as I mentioned, that's exactly the same free stock library that comes through and is pulled into Express. So you can either download your content locally and then use it from there, or you could just pull it directly in from Express. But the other thing I wanted to show you within stock is how you can have or how you can leverage stock templates for Premiere Pro. And there's multiple different types of stock templates in Premiere Pro. Now, again, a couple of entry routes here. You can either use the download option here, the download menu, excuse me, the menu option here and find templates and search for a specific template. Or you can just click on templates at the top here, and that will take you directly into the page for templates. And again, you can then search from here. So a couple of entries, but it's up to you how you want to do that. If I scroll down, you can see there's Photoshop templates here. Here's the video templates. We'll come back to that in a moment. There's also InDesign templates. These are really, really handy if you're creating documents or anything like that. There's Adobe Express templates, so you can also search for Express templates within stock. And again, it feeds through to Express. Express has it in stock, so it's all interchangeable. You can use whichever one you feel more comfortable using. But let's just go back to our video templates. I'm just going to click on that, and that will take us into all of the video templates that we have. So a couple of things I wanted to just show you, and there's different variations of templates that you can use. So you can see here this PR project, so Premiere Pro project. So that's a video, and if I scroll my mouse over the top of it, it will start to play in the background so I can have a preview of that. So this one is a project that you would open up in Premiere Pro, and then you can start to change and edit all the elements of it. You also have this other type of one as well, which is more of a dynamic video with overlays. And then you also have MOGARTs as well. So these are motion graphic templates. So these are ones that if you have, for example, a video and you've got a bit of a motion graphic start, you can add these in. And these appear in different areas within your Premiere Pro as well. So I can kind of show you an example of that. But what I'm going to do for today is just show you how to use just a straight up template for a video inside Premiere Pro, and then how you can go and change those elements. So again, like before, if it's got the blue banner, it's already been licensed by somebody in your organization. So I can just re-download it again. And I also, in true Blue Peter fashion, I did prepare earlier. So you can see I've already downloaded this one. Now, one thing I love about stock Premiere Pro templates is that when you download a template within Premiere Pro, what happens is it provides you with all of the files that you need, but it also provides you sometimes with a demo of what you need or a tutorial. So it's really awesome. So this is the one that this is this urban one that I downloaded yesterday. So you can see I've got all of my files here. I've got my Premiere Pro stock. I've got all the footages that it's used if I wanted to use them. And then I've got my project. Now, I've got slideshow 1 because I've opened it as a project and I've got it sitting here, but this would be the one that you would see. But then the other really cool thing, which I love, is it's got this video tutorial. And you'll find with everything that you download from Adobe Stock or video templates, you'll have that type of element. It might not always be a video tutorial. Sometimes it's a help file, so it gives you step-by-step instructions. Sometimes it's some screenshots of showing you what to do, but there's always that help inside the products so that you can kind of follow along and get some help. So I love that about these templates. So as I mentioned, what I've done is I've downloaded these template files and I've just clicked on the slideshow and opened this up in Premiere Pro. Now, we don't have the time today to do a full Premiere Pro demo. That's probably for another day. But what I obviously wanted to show you today is just how you can take a template and then start to edit that template using Premiere Pro. I'm sure if we want to dive a little bit deeper into Premiere Pro, we can chat to Alistair, and that can be a future webinar. But if you've opened up Premiere Pro and you have it open, you should see similar layout to what I've got. I've just done a standard default layout. I've not changed anything. I've not added anything. If you wanted to start adding different windows in, you can do that. So if you go to the Windows file and you can start to add in these different windows, you can start to change them, and there's different types of workspaces you can work towards. So if you see here, if you do your window panel, there's different workspaces you can do. It's up to you how you want to set this up. As I said, it's probably for another day to give you full training on this. But I wanted to just show you how you can take a template and use that template. So all I've done is I've double clicked on that template that I've downloaded and it's opened it up in my Premiere. And this is the template that I downloaded. So up here in the program panel, you can see a preview of the video. And then down here is my timeline. So you might recognize that a little bit from Express. I have a timeline down here and you can see there's different scenes and different options here and different images that come in based on the video. Again, I've got a drag and drop timeline, so I can drag that across. And again, just a kind of top tip, you can stretch these out by using these little panels here, and you can get a little bit more granular detail on what these are and what these do. And these pink options are just different video files that are part of it. And what tends to happen with Adobe Premiere is it stacks all of these layers on top of each other. So just like we had a look at in Express, if you can see, remember we did this show layer timing. So we can see these layers stacking on top of each other. It's the same concept inside Premiere Pro, different layers stacking on top of each other. You need to go and edit and assemble how you want to do that. There's, of course, a little bit more to it in Premiere Pro. You know, this is an industry-leading film and TV editing tool. So there, of course, there's a bit more to it. So this is just a very basic overview. But you can edit and drag your timeline here so you can see your video playing in your preview. Now, on the left-hand side here, this is where all your project files are. So again, we're doing a film editing. You can imagine there's like hundreds and hundreds, thousands of different scenes that have been shot, and then you would be editing and adjusting them appropriately. But for us, we've just got a very standard, simple file format because we've just pulled in a template. But you can see we've got these, I've got an edit folder. So this is where I can come in and edit my template to create the video that I want to create. Now, I'm going to go and just edit some of the media in this because if you remember from the template I show here, if I just scroll my mouse over it, it plays with these images in the background and the text overlaid on top. But when I come into my template, it's just black screen, and it's because it's not pulled through those images. Those are just example images. So we need to go and add them in. So we can do that through using this edit folder and in your media file. And it's simple enough. What we do is this is our final cut. So if we double click on our media file, what happens is you'll see it opens up another window here. So we can then start to add in our different layers, which will pull through to our final cut. So let's say, for example, and again, I've kind of pulled through some images that I want to add to this. So I just show you, these are the ones I'm going to add. So I've got Media 1, Media 2, which is just this kind of crowd scene, Media 3, which is this really cool guy doing this move that looks really, really hard. And then this beautiful girl with her headphones dancing in the sunlight. So these are the 4 images I'm going to just show you how to input into your video so that they play. So once I've opened up these media files, what I'm going to do actually before I do that is I'm going to just drag down these 4 images that I have. And again, I've kind of pre-saved them just so that we were not wasting time downloading them, but they're just stock images. I've just searched in stock and pulled them and licensed them and pulled them into a folder. So again, I have like a folder here, media 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to drag them into this file and just drop them. And you'll see what happens is they come in here into my project folder. So I'm in Media 1 and I'm going to drag my scene into this. So again, if I use my timeline, I can see what that looks like. And to me, it looks a bit, it's not how the image, I want the image to look. Because in the original image, you'll see I've got a lot more of the road and I don't seem to have that here. So what we need to do is just adjust the effect slightly. So if I click on that particular asset, up in my effects control panel, I'm able to then adjust the scale of that. So I can kind of scroll that down and say, right, I'm going to get more of the road in that scene. And then I can essentially just go ahead and do the same with my media 2. Again, I've named these media 1, media 2 just to keep me right. And again, it's the scale's a bit off there. So I'm just going to select my media. I'm just going to scale that ever so slightly. Now, I want it to show a different position as well because the blurred images seem a bit too focused here, too much in the forefront of the picture. So again, I can just position this slightly differently just by using these the effect controls here, and just you'll see if I can scale it up and down depending on how I want that to look. So again, media 3. I'm going to open up my media 3 here. Again, I'm opening this up as a separate on the timeline so I can add in my images so that it pulls through to the final. I'm going to put my cool dude in here. He's doing this amazing breakdancing moves. And then I'm just going to go to my effect controls and I'm going to, again, just scale him down a little bit. And then finally, I'll show you media 4 just so we can get a few examples. Input my image. Again, I'm just going to scale it. So we can either scale it using our effect controls, but equally, if we right click on that image as well, you can actually set to frame size or scale to the frame size as well. So just a few different options there for you as well. You've got these faster ways, or if you want a bit more control, you can use your effects. So if I go back to my final timeline here, what I can do is you'll see it straight away here in your preview file, in your preview box. If I make that a bit bigger. The images that we've added in as the media now will pull through and the words will be over the top of them. And again, you can continue to build these up, but I just wanted to kind of show you how that looks. And if you wanted to then adjust some of the wording, it's the same way that you would do that. You'd come back here to your files. Let me just make that smaller so we can see it. You come back here to your edit files. I'll just close that media box, go into your text box, and then I'll just double click. I can open my text box. You can see it says modern here. So here's it on the timeline. Again, if I click on it, right up here in my program panel, I can just change this. So maybe I want this to say, instead of modern, let's change this to city. It's a city scene. And again, I've got adjustments here on the graphics panel. I can adjust, the size, the scale, the color of that font. I can do whatever I want to do with that font as well. but I'm just going to go and I'm going to leave text too. I quite like that one. I'm going to change slideshow to maybe change that to the word skills. And then I'm going to go into text 4 and change no plugins and maybe put the word create there. So again, I've got all these different media and text files opened up on my timeline. If I go back to the final, I can then see what that's going to look like across the final video there as well. So that's just one way that you can come in, use a template, and then start to edit that template within Premiere Pro so that you can have it how you want it to look. I'll pause. I know I've showed you quite a lot there in a very, very short space of time. As I said, Premiere Pro is quite a large tool. And if we wanted to understand more of the mechanics to it, it's perhaps for a different session. But that's how you can take a template, bring it into Premiere Pro, and then start to adjust it within there as well. Any questions? Conscious we've only got 5 more minutes. And if you've no questions, just feel free to give me a thumbs up. But one thing I would say is, thanks, Caitlin. One thing I would say is go and play around with it. You know, just have a go. Have a look at stock, see if there's anything that you think, oh, actually, I'm going to use that one. The great thing about it as well is if you create a video inside Express and you have it as an MP4, you can open it up in Premiere and start making more advanced edits to it. Equally, if you've downloaded a template with Adobe Stock and then started to make your edits inside Premiere and you wanted to export that as an MP4 and bring it back into Express, you can do that as well. So there's lots of options there for you to start to edit and change your videos. As I mentioned, Premiere Pro is an industry-leading tool. There's training within the tool as well. So there is the learn option or help option at the top, which you can go and get some help, and there's loads of tutorials on Premiere Pro. Equally in Express, there's also built-in training in the learn option. And you can, you know, go there to get some training. And then there's also a user guide, which I'll place up into the chat pod now. So that's a user guide for Adobe Express, and that'll just take you through some of the actions that we went through today as well. Great. Hopefully that all makes sense. If you do have any questions, please reach out. And yeah, I believe the recording will be up on your YouTube channel, so feel free to watch back and follow along later as well if you'd like. So thanks everyone. Have a lovely Easter when it comes.